Hey folks, I'm back again. Looks like we're doing A7, which is cube roots for Algebra 1. This is on the IXL. Algebra 1, A7 happens to be cube roots. And we're asking what number multiplied times itself gives you 0. So looks like we're talking about 0. 0 multiplied 3 times gives you 0. And the cube root of 64 is 4. 4 times 4 is 16, times 4 is 64. Cube root of 27 is 3, times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. 5 times 5 is 25, times 5 is 125. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. It's one you want to really know well. 2 cubed is 8. Cube root of 1 is 1. 1 times 1 times 1 is just 1. 10 times 10 times 10. Notice that there's 3 zeros there. The 0 again. Looks like we don't have a lot of choices here. What else we got? Oh, 2. Hopefully they'll give us some negatives soon. 64, 4. 10 again. That's 6 times 6 times 6 is 216. Oh, there we go. -6 this time. Notice that cube roots can be negative because negative, I'll write it down, -6 times -6 times -6. Get those negatives out there so we can see them. This is positive 36 times -6 is negative 216. So -6. Something to keep in mind, just a little insight into something. Another way to write the same thing is to say -216 raised to the 1/3 power. And a way of thinking about this is, as far as multiplication goes, 1/3 of this multiplication gives us -216, and -6 is 1/3 of that multiplication. By the way, if it's -216 to the 2/3, we want 2 of those multiplied together, which happens to be 36. Just some insight into what's going on. Anyway, thought you might want to see that. What else we got? That's -3. Get rid of this. There, come on. There we go. -5. 512. That's going to be 8 times 8 times 8. Let's just make sure. 8 times 8 is 64. Times 8 is 2. Carry the 3, and that is 512. 8. That is -4. $729, that is -9, because 81, again, 81, which is 9 times 9, times 9 is 729. Can't multiply today. There it is. So it's -9, isn't it? That's -8. Oh, okay, so they're gonna make me work for it a little bit this time. All right, so we want a perfect square. Well, 256, the cube root of 256, no, that's not right. The cube root of 225, I know, is 5. No, that's 125. Dang, getting a little slow today. Let's see, let's write my cube roots. We've got 125, 216, and then that's 6. 7 cubed is 49 times 7 is, that's 350 minus 7, which is 343. There's the one we need. So it's between these two, isn't it? So we're between negative 216 is between negative 216 and negative 343. And it looks like it's between negative 6 and negative 7. Okay, so 512, the cube root is 8. And the cube root of 729 is 9. So we're in between there, a lot closer to 8. 537. Notice that we're quite a bit closer to 8. So it's probably about 8.1. We want to go with 8 and 9. Oh, okay, so this time we're between the cube root of negative 1 and the cube root of negative 8. This is negative 1 and negative 2. And which one are we closer to? Well, let's see. We're talking about the cube root of negative 4. So we're pretty close to the middle, but closer to the 1. Definitely not closer to the 8. So it's not this one, and it certainly isn't this one or this one. So it looks like we're about negative 1.1. If you square negative 1.1, it doesn't seem, nope, negative 1.1 if I square it. Oh, I'm cubing it, duh. Okay, so it looks like we're probably gonna go with this one. Yeah, I'm gonna try that. Nope, negative 1.6. One of the things we want to keep in mind is that the interpolation doesn't quite work quite as well on these. I was closer to the middle, so I should have went with the negative 1.6. So let's try the next one. Sorry about that. It's cube root of 119, so 119. So we're talking about the cube root of 125 is 5, and the cube root of, let's see, we want 64 is 4. We're a lot closer to 5, but they didn't ask me exactly, so between 4 and 5. All right, this time we are between the cube root of negative 216, which is negative 6, and the cube root of negative 343, which is negative 7. And we're in between those two. So it looks like it's the negative 6.5 is the only possibility. 278. A little hard to cube these sometimes. 253, we want the integers that are the closest. So again, we're going to go on this side is the cube root of 216. and the cube root of 343. That's between 6 and 7. And so 6 and 7. Don't want to spend too long on these. Ooh, negative 25. So negative 27 is negative 3. And the cube root of negative 8 is negative 2. Now let's see if we can figure this out. We want negative 25, so we're a lot closer to negative 3. So I'm going to guess that one, because the negative 25 is right over near here. So cube root of 158. So we're looking at the cube root of, 216 and 125. So we're between 5 and 6. Cube root of 24. 27 is 3. And the cube root of 8 is 2. So we're between 2 and 3. Negative 139. So we're looking at the cube root of negative 125. And the cube root of negative 216. So we're between negative 6 and negative 5. Negative 6, negative 5. Remember to reverse the direction on those for the negatives. Negative 183, looks like it's the same deal again. Let's see. Oh. Negative 216 is negative 6. And the cube root of negative 125 is negative 5. Huh, cube root of 100, huh? All right, so we want the cube root of 125 is 5. And the cube root of 64 is 4. So we're between 4 and 5. There's only one number that's in between 4 and 5 here. Ooh, a big one. Let's see. We're looking at 729. That's our negative 9. And the cube root of 512 is negative 8. Sorry, negative 512. And so we're between negative 8 and negative 9, quite a bit closer to the negative 9. So I'm going to go with the negative 8.8. There it is, all done. Hope you can master your cube roots even better than I did. Good luck.